But why did I, as a black person, felt upset?
Kids come home and they have an attitude, or they seem like something happened, but instead, oh, I know you didn't talk to me.
Because someone may be saying, but there's so much happening in my family now.
Welcome back to the Morgan Dialogues. I know it's been a while, but we are back, and we are here today with a very important topic of how the Black family either advances or hinders the development of our community.
I remember it was maybe the first time that I went to a staff trip, and we usually go to hotels. But something happened that really, if you ask me, I think it got me upset. If I'm to be truthful to you, it got me upset. We're at this hotel, and mind you, I'm not saying I saw it happening with every. It's not like I look and say, oh, that family has it, it happens to that. No, but in general, when I looked, I saw the tourists at the hotels, and it seemed as if they were from, they seemed white and, they were not black. Let's put it that way. They were not black. But what I noticed is that I saw they came as a family to a hotel, and their children were there. And that got me upset. I'm like, what? At the time, I never thought of it. Now that I'm looking back, I'm asking myself, why did I get upset? But then when I look back, then what I was thinking, in my mind, I was thinking, as a black man, when I'm going to the hotel, I'm looking to care of my wife. I'm looking to care of my girlfriend, if that's the case. I'm looking to care of probably my sidekick, but not my son's sidekick. What do you call them again?
Side chick.
Side chick. You see, that's why I don't like that.
Yeah.
But I'm not looking forward to care of my son and daughter, because to me, I'm like, we need time together. Oh, what?
Yeah.
And then the question I have to ask myself is, why did I feel that way?
Yeah.
Why is it that I looked at my community in general, because obviously it's not everyone, but why did I, as a black person, felt upset with what I saw someone else, someone of another ethnicity, how they viewed the family. But to me, I was like, oh my gosh, but they needed time together. What do you think that means?
Well, I can relate to, because there are many times growing up where you see this kind of wholesome picture of a family. You have dad, mom, siblings, and they're doing wholesome family things. And when you come from a home that doesn't necessarily match that, it could make you angry, it could make you envious, it makes you curious, like, wait, how come we don't have that here? And I do think that it's something for us we're talking about too, because we're a black couple and we do plan to have a family eventually. And it's really important not to repeat things that we saw growing up, and why it doesn't seem like we came from a community of people that valued family in the same way. Like, I'm not saying, of course, there were some black families that did, especially we have like upper middle class black families, they go on family vacations, but that wasn't like the norm, right? So the norm or the status quo, or what is typically the makeup of black families is usually have a single parent home, usually a single mom with a bunch of baby daddies. You have a lot of gang violence, crime, poor education in terms of how we perform in public institutions. You see a lot of disconnection, like a more dysfunctional family unit, then you see something that's more wholesome. Even if you grew up like with me, growing up in a middle class family, but with a mom, just a single mom, right? We had a lot of experiences, and my mom exposed us to so much, but we were still lacking the father in the home as well.
That's a very good point. And maybe that makes sense why I felt upset, because in a sense, when you look at our community, we're lacking something. And nowadays we're lacking the fathers. The fathers are like missing in action. So maybe I wasn't saying, oh, we don't want that child to be there. They're going to be a bother. But in my mind, it's almost like they're not usually together.
Yes.
The mother and the father are not usually together. So maybe it's like all the time to spend together. Also, what came to me, which is surprising, I never thought of it then. What came to me, in most cases, growing up, I never saw affection with my mom and dad growing up.
Yeah.
I never saw that. I never saw them openly kissing each other.
Yeah.
I don't know. No, that things they do in the bedroom. We're not talking about that.
No.
But I didn't see them openly showing affection.
Yeah.
So to me, coming to a hotel, they finally will have the time to openly show affection.
Yeah.
However, what I'm beginning to understand is that persons who are of different ethnicity, especially when I saw those persons, the white, what I realize and understand now is that they do everything as a family and they show affection. Because even the church I grew up in a Mormon church. And one thing they helped me a lot with is family dynamic.
Yeah.
They are great, and I have to give them credit where credit is due. They have helped me become the person I have in terms of getting married, knowing about family because of them.
Yeah.
So they involved the family.
Yeah.
They taught us how to be a family, and because of that, they did things as a family.
Yeah, so it's more like it's a purposeful decision, right? Versus, I think in our case, and commonly in Black families, is you have a lot of like, they work all day, they get home, maybe they're tired to really pay too much attention to what you happen in school. You have after school activities, and there's some of you are like me, my sister and I spend more of our time after school than at home. And you rarely have those times where you sit down and you talk about your day, and maybe we have family discussions. This was not the norm, but I think, like you said, with Mormon communities and other ethnic groups, they make a purposeful decision to say family first.
Yes.
And they identify what that is, right? It's not just, oh yeah, family first, family, because I feel like a lot of Black people would say that, like, oh yeah, family is everything. We say that all the time. Family is everything. But when you really think about it, what family dynamics are we actually performing at home? And are we purposeful about this is what it means to be a family? And I feel like that's not very defined or clearly defined in our community, because what you've only seen is this pattern where you have, like I said, single parent homes, and everybody just kind of goes on their day on a loop, and you don't really check in with each other. I think that's why, for a long time in the Black community, it was like taboo to talk about mental health and depression and, suicide. And these things were like not seen as this is not a us thing, even though many of us were probably struggling with that. And we never had the environment where being a family, meaning we're there for each other, we're bearing each other's burdens, we're listening to each other. Again, you're seeing mom and dad interact, you're seeing this healthy interaction with them, even, arguing in front of your kids, which is something you shouldn't do, right?
Yes.
But a lot of us seen that. We've seen
mostly that. Arguing.
We see our parents argue in front of each other, and sometimes it's very vicious, and this is what you're used to seeing. And so when we say family is everything, our definition of family is so different from the types where you say we go on family vacations and we sit down at the dinner table and we talk to each other and we pick each other's brains, or we talk about what's been going on, what's deep in our hearts. We don't really cultivate that. I don't remember any of that growing up. So later on, when you get older and you just realize you have all these issues that either some people have to go to therapy for, or you counseling, and all sorts of things to try to rehabilitate all the trauma, you're like, dang, where did all this come from? And I think it speaks to, or it reflects that, growing up, you didn't really have an outlet. We didn't really know what family meant, even to passing down things, traditions. And yeah, I just feel like we've never really defined what it means for us to be family. And we just kind of went with whatever came and never stopped to say, hey, like, is this really a family? Wow. Or is this just, you're taking care of me because I can't take care of myself because I'm a kid, and you're just waiting till I grow up to move out the house and call it a day, right? I don't really know what we define as family.
I think it was a few weeks ago, I remember watching this YouTube video, and I think he's an Asian, but he went to Africa and he went to a church in Africa. And while at that church, he said at that church, no one dates each other, but a lot of people are married in that church. So no one dates each other, but a lot of people are married. And he found it interesting. He went straight to that church in Africa, and he interviewed a couple. To me, it's an ideal couple, but there's a lot of but. Anyway, one thing though, I find strange. I think I followed through with another video. When they decided to get married, they had their counseling session. But I found this kind of strange. I remember they interviewed the man first, and then the husband, and then the wife. Because they were married at the time, and they were, telling what happened after they decided to get married. And they said they had this course that they had to do. I'm like, yes, of course. And when it went to the female, she said, yes, she had to remember a lot of things. I don't know, I guess they had to do an exam. I don't know. Yeah. But they got a course. And then she said she had to remember a lot of things. He said he has to prepare himself for what they were teaching him. And there was even an instance where I'm wondering if it's the same couple, because I say I watch a video after that to really try to get more understanding. But anyway, one of them said that they were in the room like by themselves, and then there was this long line of members or married couples who have been married for whenever, one at a time coming giving advice, telling them the things that they should work on, do all these things. And I remember one of the guys was saying, as I say, it's 2 videos, but I'm just speaking on behalf of both of them. One of the guys said, after 2 videos I watched, that he even has, it's 2 instances that I was watching. One was a podcast and the interview with a couple. And I remember one of the guests on the podcast said, even up to today, he has a lot of notes on what was given on that. Those sessions that they had, premarital sessions. Here's my question though. And I remember, as I say, I grew up in a Mormon church. And I got married in the Mormon church. And to tell the truth, I can remember having sessions prior to getting married. I may, but definitely I didn't go through a course. You know why I didn't go through a course?
Because it was like built in.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It is almost like every Friday night we got a chance to communicate with someone of the opposite sex. So, but they spoke to us. They had sessions throughout the time you were in that church that spoke about marriage, what is a healthy marriage. They spoke about how to make a marriage last. So here's my take, and here's the difference. In our community, or what they saw in that black family in Africa, it's almost like all of that talk took place 2 weeks before they got married. It's like, let's train you everything you need to know in that 1 month, 2 month, let's say 3 month period. After you decide to get married. Let's tell you all you need. Tell you all you need to know. Tell you, But watch this. When I was at the church, let's show you what you need to do. I'm going to tell you, but we're going to show you. You're going to see married couple. You're going to see them in action. So by the time we were ready to get married, I remember talking to the person in charge one time. Even if we have another time, maximum 3. But I didn't remember having sessions or like, we have another session with the pastor. No. Or we had no, we didn't have that. So what am I saying? I'm saying that when you look at these other people of other ethnicities, to me, you grew up seeing your mother being in love with your father. You've seen both parents in the home. You see them carrying you out to the hotels and enjoying life together as a family. You see them having family discussion, but maybe because in our community we don't see those things, we have to be told those things before we get married.
And by then it's like too late to cram in everything.
Oh my goodness.
I think that's a good point, because I think that has been my criticism of growing up in the church. Obviously not every church, but I noticed that growing up in church, you're you sit down in the pews on a Sunday morning, the pastor just hoops and hollers and shouts and quotes some scripture, the choir singing, everybody's there to, I guess, be at church, right? But there was no real teaching happening. I remember my mom shared that with me. She's like, I wish they taught us, how do you date as a Christian or as a Christian woman? How do you prepare yourself for marriage as a believer? Because back then, growing up, you didn't get a lot of those like clinical sermons. Everything was just shouting and we're emotional, we're dancing, we're praising. And yeah, there's a time and place for that too. But it never was balanced out with instruction, right? Because even the Word of God says it's an instruction for us. It's there for our learning, for our So to me, and I think the Bible is a perfect foundation of how you develop your family dynamics and your family values. It's all written there, especially in the New Testament. If we're getting instruction in scripture on how to build a successful family, why don't we see that then in the case of the Black community, especially a community that church is like, is everything.
We make it
like,
as priority.
Yes, it's our number one. That was our community. That was our political gathering. That was our gather, like of all different issues, right? But instead of it being a place where you start to cultivate, you take what you're getting on Sunday and you're implementing it throughout the week with your family, it was just more of a going through the motion is what we're supposed to do. It's religion. It's what it is. But you realize a lot of those Black Christian families, you had a lot of toxic dysfunction dynamics. And so when you grow up without that, your idea of family is so starkly different from what is even considered a healthy family. I would pose a question to you, babe. It's like, why is it so important for us to have an understanding of family, and why is family so important to our future, our generations?
That's a very good question. Why is family important? Because you notice when we look at how, if you grow up in a, for example, our community, if you look at it, there's a lot of single mother. For example, there's no father in most cases around.
Or they're in and out.
Or they're in and out of the picture.
Yeah.
So it gives them a distorted view of what even a family means. More so, taking it one step forward, they're thinking, is this what it means to love someone? We love them from afar.
Yeah.
And finally, they're given a view that, is this how God's love is to me?
Yeah.
When I see how my mother treat my dad, how I see we treat each other, how I see how we are not living together. Is this how God views love? How God views a family?
Yeah.
So it affects, maybe that is why we continue to have these dysfunctional relationships. Because growing up, if you're not aware, if you don't have the discernment, if you don't have that relationship with God for yourself, you may think, oh, this is how a family should be.
Right.
Oh, it's okay to have a man in your life, but not a man in the home.
Yeah.
So it affects us because, and it affects our relationship with others.
Yeah.
Because we don't know what it means to sit down and talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
We know to scream at your door.
Yeah.
And tell
you off.
And tell you off, because at least me tell her the truth.
Yeah.
At least
keeping it 100.
And keeping it 100. Wow.
Wow.
So
we don't even know how to speak to
oh
each
my
other.
God. So it affects us because over time, other persons will start avoid us.
Yeah.
Okay, we need to avoid those set of people because they really don't know to talk to you.
Yeah.
And when they have something to say to you, they will tell you all in front of the camera.
Yeah.
They won't even wait in private. They'll tell you and then say, at least I said the truth. No, that's not how it goes.
So what I hear you saying that family, our understanding of it and its importance plays a big role in the decisions we make.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So because to me, the decision in who you marry, the decision in how you handle yourself when you're, again, faced with confrontation or conflict.
Yes.
A decision of doing the right thing, right? Because family is where you get your values.
Yes,
Family is
yes.
where you learn what's right, what's wrong. Like, I can go down a list of things my mother taught me, you know, and that is, and what she taught me was the way that I operated myself in society when she's not there, right?
Yes.
So because she instilled these beliefs and values in me, I didn't go out and embarrass myself. I didn't go out cussing people out, fighting people. And I mean, granted, I did get in some fights in school, but you know, and even in that, she would teach me, you know, that you shouldn't get into fights for this reason, but I still want you to defend yourself, right? So it's just, your family is kind of like your roadmap, because that's like your first exposure to human interaction, right? When you're born, your first interaction is with your mom, with your dad, with your siblings if you're not the first kid, or you know, with your cousins, with your aunts and uncles. Like, this is your first like dip into the world. And so how your family dynamic is, once you leave your family and go out into the world, that's going to determine like what kind of foundation did your family leave behind. And you know, I can imagine when we talked about some issues earlier, like crime rate and poor education, reading comprehension, like these things are a reflection of our families, because we're not teaching our kids, you don't go into the store and steal. That's wrong to do. There's punishment for that. We're not guiding our children to, okay, you've had enough time on your phone today, let's study, let's look up some ways on how to help you improve in the area you're weakest in. Or we're not even, our kids come home and they have an attitude, or they seem like something happened, but instead, oh, I know you didn't talk to me like that. Girl, you better, you know, instead of, baby, you seem like you're in a bad mood today. What's wrong? What happened at school, right? Like, we cut our kids out when they're having a rough day. And because we're the adults and we think we know everything, we actually prevent them from developing emotionally. Where they're able to, they're not going to go out into the world and become menaces to society. You know, when they don't get their way, or they're, you know, or something happens to them, some form of injustice, for example, right? My mom taught me how to handle injustices, and it wasn't by cussing people out and making myself look crazy. So my mom taught me those things, so I didn't go into the world thinking like, oh, I'm never going to be able to do this, or I can't achieve this because of this or because of that. That came straight from home. I didn't read that in a book. I didn't read that. I watched on a YouTube video. We didn't have YouTube back then, right? So I think overall, family is like the central place that a person learns who they are in the world, their purpose, how to move in the world, how to handle difficulties, how to handle, you know, consequences. But if that's not happening at home, then that's why it produces the level of chaos and dysfunction that we often see in the Black community.
You know, I mentioned earlier that the church I grew up in really taught me a lot about family. But that's why it's one thing to hear these things, but it's another thing to actually see it in reality. Because if I never saw it happen in reality, I would still like, I'm going to doubt that. But guess what happened? I saw both my mom and dad got back together. They were separated, you know, one living here, one living there. But I saw them get back together and got married in the end. And I saw love in my family. I saw marriage in my home. And I believed in it. I knew it was essential. Even if I never believed in it then, by that time I was like, oh my gosh, there is hope. There is love. There is still need to get back together for two persons who are still, and as I say, I never saw affection being shown, but I saw love shown then. And here's another thing that why family is important, I have to mention as well. My mom, I realized at the end of the day, she was the one who pushed us more towards serving God. My dad now, he's the one that pushed us more to having an education. But together, oh my gosh.
You need both.
You need both. And I'm saying that the woman has her strength, the man has his strength, but together they help build the family. And because of that togetherness, because my mother taught me one thing, my dad taught me. I started as a man now. I was like, because I saw my dad going out there and working and bringing back things. To me, I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to be, be able to. My mom stayed at home. For most of my life, I saw her stay at home. So I saw my dad take care of my mom and take care of the home. And when I saw that, in my mind, I was like, that's how I want to take care of my family. So I was able to see that. And it also helped me to respect. Mind you, I never saw them fighting. I'm not saying it never happened. But I never saw them fighting. Even if they did, I never saw it. And to me, I said, that's why it's important. I never say it to myself.
But it's like it plants a seed in you.
Yes, that you have to respect each other. And I think that's, so you see, I'm going out there in life, in society, but I'm picking up all these things that is happening in the home and carrying it when I interact with a female, when I interact with another male, when I go in my workplace. I'm taking the same values, whether they're good or bad, and bringing them out there. Why? Because I first learned those at home.
And I think that's why, to me, the family is what hinders or advances a person's development. Because if you think about it, long before your child is out in the world, you have all the influence on them. Like everything from the way that, again, you're interacting with your spouse or with the father, or the way that you're keeping a home as a mother, or the way that you instruct your kids as a father. Like all your child is being influenced by you first, before the school system touches them, before the government touches them,
before they go to church,
before the church touches them. That's a good point. Even before the church touches them, that's what's so powerful about a family, and especially being a mother and a father, because you are in fact influencing the next generation of people, of adults that are gonna grow up. And I remember listening to this lady one time. She said basically she saw them as future adults, right? She just didn't see them as, oh, her little babies, but she realizes they're going to become adults one day, and they're going to make decisions. They're going to make choices, and they're going to go places. She wanted to infuse them with a mindset, with a way of observing, with a way of making decisions, because when she's no longer there, they're gonna have to carry on whatever it is. She can't be there to make every decision for them, because as parents, we're gonna always do our best to make the best decision for our kids, right? But when we're not there, how do they make those choices now? What are they gonna lean on? What are they gonna discern? And if you didn't infuse them with the proper things that could help advance them in society, but rather hinder, then it's a reflection of what you did. And we put our kids so far back than any perceived hurdle that the world could give them. So as a parent or as a family, we have the power to advance our children quicker, right? If we instill them with the proper values. Like, I can't tell you how many things that came back to me that my mom taught me that ended up being my greatest superpower, because I didn't succumb to the pressure in the world. I didn't succumb to, whatever bias or discrimination that was out there because of what my mom instilled in me. I could hear her echoing like those words to me in those moments when she's not there. Because it wasn't just a one-time thing. My mom grilled it. It was like, it's not a one-time, like you said with the course, the relationship course. That is not the time now to start trying to cram in everything so you hope that, okay, they'll have a healthy marriage dynamic, family dynamic. That is not the time to do that. This is something you're to be discipled in over and over and over until it becomes second nature. And so I think that's why family is so powerful. It's something we think about all the time. We'll even play around like, babe, if our little girl came home and said, you know, this happened, what would you tell her? Like, we're already trying to, you know, create an environment of learning, but also a safe environment for our kids to grow up in and become the most amazing human beings they're going to be when they get older. They're not going to be perfect. And yes, no family is perfect. Even the ones that we see have wholesome family dynamics, I'm sure they have drama for days. But the fact of the matter is what they're doing is going to far outlast what little drama they go through than if you don't give them anything at all. Because if you don't, your kids are going to get it from somewhere else, right? And they're going to get bad examples. They're going to get maybe some okay examples. But you as the family, as the father, mother, husband, and wife, you actually have like the power to influence your kid to become an amazing human being who makes choices. And even if they make bad choices, they learn from those choices, right? We want to teach our kids like, look, mistakes have consequences. They have costs. But that is a on purpose thing. That is not something that you do randomly, right? I think when people see wholesome families, it could look like it was just a random thing that happened, like, oh, that person was lucky to just be born in a wholesome, but no, that actually took work.
Yes.
Like any successful person that came from a healthy home, they would probably tell you, like, no, that was a purposeful thing that their parents decided this is the standard we're going to set for our family. These are the values we're going to ingrain in our kids. This is what we hope that they're going to go. And we pray to God that when we're no longer in the picture, those things are going to carry them the rest of their life.
Wonderful. You know, I want to encourage someone at this moment. Because someone may be saying, but there's so much happening in my family now. There's so much that I'm not learning from my family right now. There's so much hurt that I'm feeling or experiencing in my family right now. But I'm here to tell you, and this is what we have done. We have decided that there are things that my father did that I did not like. But I said, in my family, I will correct that.
Yes.
There are things that if I say, oh, you know, I don't like what my mom did. But I'm speaking to my wife. Or that's why I chose my wife, because I realized we have decided that we want to correct that. And I think that's my encouragement to someone today. Tell yourself, this is the type of family I want for myself. Oh, yeah.
If we're both honest, where we were heading before God got a hold of us, this really shouldn't be here today. You know? So I'm just saying that as someone that came from a broken background and so on, I could have been a victim of my situation. We could have been and said, you know what, that's just the way it is. But deep down, it was like, no, we can be different. And yes, it takes a little bit more work, but anybody, there's still always hope to do it differently. You know, and I think that's what I hear from you. Like, there's hope that even if you didn't get the right family dynamics and values and all this stuff, right, that's okay. But you still have free will agency today to decide, I want to do this differently. So that's where we're going to take it for today. And hopefully we'll be posting a little bit more. But please leave your comments, any feedback, questions, or your own experiences. What are some family values your family have given you? And share with us in the comments below. And of course, if this is your first time, please, we hope you subscribe to the YouTube channel for more. And we look forward to seeing you guys next time on The Morgan Dialogues. Take care. Bye-bye.